Hi, you are welcome to our ongoing series on clearing your limiting belief and reprogramming your mind to achieve greatness and achieving all the goals you set for yourself. Fortunately, today we have a live client. We have a client who I'm going to take through a process, one of the techniques to remove all the beliefs that have kept him down and replace in his mind the inspiration that he requires to be able to achieve his goals and become better than he was before coming for this coaching session. So join us as I will interact with him. I will interact with him to be able to remove all those limiting beliefs using one of the techniques that we have developed called pain inspiration technique to reprogramming the mind and removing limiting mindsets. So you are welcome to this week's session. Join me as I take you through one of our techniques, pain inspiration technique to removing limiting beliefs and reprogramming the mind with inspiration. Our client is here, and I will invite you to join myself and him as you learn how to reprogram your mind with that particular technique. You are welcome. Good morning, sir. So today I am fortunate to have you as a coaching client in Passion Drive Coaching and Consultancy. Over the last few weeks on our online program, which is the YouTube channel, we have been putting in a number of techniques that will help our viewers to be able to reprogram their minds. So today, with your permission, as I said earlier, we are going to video this process. So whereas I'm taking you through a live coaching session, the camera will be on me whilst I interact with you. You are assured of your confidentiality of everything that is going to take place here. So you are welcome, sir. I want to take you through a technique I have developed called pain inspiration technique to removing limiting beliefs and reprogramming your mind with inspiration so that you're able to achieve your goals in life. This technique is so powerful that when you provide me with all the relevant information, or even after the coaching session, when you take this book that I have developed, Millionaire Mindset Development Toolkit, when you take this book, in it, I have put the technique, and it's a form of a template that you will fill in information that will help you to analyze and then come out with the right solution for yourself. But thankfully, before you even go there, I will take you through the process. So it involves 5 stages. One, which is the first stage, I have named it Tell Me What Pains You Feel. So name your pains. That's the first stage. The second stage is for you to describe the kind of pains you feel. The third stage is to analyze the pains. The fourth stage is to delve into the pains and unleashing the pain out to free up your brains. And the last stage is to replenish your brain, fill back your brain, occupy your brain with possibilities, with things that you wish to achieve for yourself in life? From now to the next hour, for you, but for our viewers, it will take some between 10 to 20 minutes, and we'll be done with this. So, the first I want to find out from you are what constitutes pain in your life, and whatever constituted pains in your life. So, whilst you were growing up, what have been the pains that you have suffered, and as you have grown up, what are the pains you are suffering, which is not making you achieve the needed growth and achievements you want in your life? What are they? Are they emotional? Are they physical pains? Just name them. So you say that you are suffering from the pains that many people in Africa are suffering, which is poverty pains. You have also indicated as a child you were being bullied. You have also indicated, just like many who come here, they suffer from mindsets related to some human beings behaving in ways that serve as obstacles to achieving their goals. So for you, these are the things that constitute pain in your life. The pain of poverty, the pain of an uncle who is either sitting on your property, or the uncle doing actions or inactions spiritually and physically that retards your growth. And the last one is the pains coming from you being bullied as a child. So these are yours, but everybody has one kind of pain or the other that limits the way they would have grown if those pains were neglected, if those pains were not there. So thankfully, by the benefits you are going to enjoy from this particular coaching, you will see the details in whatever that these pains are causing you, and you will eliminate them and replenish them with lots of inspiration. In fact, everybody suffers one pain or the other, whether they are rich or they are poor, whether they are strong or they are weak, and whether they are alone or they are in a family. Everybody suffers one pain or the other. There is no human being who doesn't suffer pain. But the difference between those who have been able to climb on their pain, turn it into positivity, and increase their productivity is the achievements you see in life and the failures you see in society. I suffer pain as well, but what do I do with that pain? You get the point? So some call it disappointment, some call it failure, but it comes back to pain. It is emotion, and it is that emotion that gets you to act positively or to act by just giving up and sitting down. Other people, their pains come in the form of losing elections, and others comes in the form of their businesses failing. They were having money, but all of a sudden money goes away from them, and they begin to interpret that pain in very limiting ways that doesn't allow them to be able to come back. So for you, these areas you have named, as an individual who growing, I also suffered them. But having come into contact with my coaches, and also whilst I was in learning to become a personal and business development coach, I have been able to put them aside, and I have turned them into great thoughts that fuels my strengths to be able to solve those problems rather than allow them to pull me down. So if you want to use this technique very well, the first stage I mentioned is for you to name all the pains you are suffering in life, whether it is love disappointment, whether it is marriage disappointment, whether it is the disappointment of having only boys and not girls, whether it's the disappointment of having only girls and no boys, or not even giving birth at all, or whether it's a disappointment of not being able to get that promotion or whatever it is. Just name the kind of pain you are suffering in life. After naming the pain, I now ask you to describe how the pain is. An example of how to describe a pain for me, as I was growing, was that I suffered poverty. Even though I always say that the house I grew up from were not the worst. There were people who suffered more poverty than us. So we were considered better. However, even the better we were living, generally, in terms of my exposure, in terms of my reading, in terms of everything that I represented, I saw we could do better than what we were doing. And I also interpreted the lives of those who were around me to be an example of my living. So I saw poverty represented in the kind of food people ate. There were families that went throughout the day eating only dinner, and the dinner needed to have seen it. There were families whose homes, whenever it rained, they couldn't sleep because they feared the rooms would fall on them. There were families who, when you are passing by their homes, you see gaping walls, holes that shines the brightness of the sun into the room, that from outside you can see inside the room and whatever was inside. So it meant that lizards, scorpions, even snakes, rodents easily had access, go into these rooms that people slept in with their children. It also translated into the kind of clothing they wore. So for me, when I'm describing the pain of poverty, I see it in the way those people lived. Then when I come back to myself, so those things I saw in those people is psychological pain that I feel about poverty. Then when it comes back to myself, there were times that we couldn't have 3 meals to eat in a day. So there were times that the time we didn't eat, you felt hungry, very, very hungry. To an extent that you needed to go to the backyard. If it was during the harvest season, you have corn that you harvest to go and roast and then you eat. Or you go into the wild to go and look for shea nuts. Or you go and look for red berries. Or if it was during off-farming season, you go into people's farms to see if they harvested and left some groundnuts that you go and harvest and eat. If it was during farming season, also at the beginning of farming season, you go to do by day. You hire your labor out, even as small as you were, you hire your labor out, then they'll pay you something to go and buy food to eat. It was so painful. So growing up, that kind of pain lived with me for almost the entire period of my childhood. I was only able to turn it into inspiration when I started learning to become a coach. So now I have put it behind me and turn it into positivity. So for you, I may not have the same experience with you in terms of poverty, but once there is lack of something resulting from the lack of money, it means the pains may be similar. The pains may be similar for you if you lack money. Hunger is one. Lack of money to pay school fees, lack of money to pay rent, lack of money to do basic things that money can do. I'm asking you to describe that pain. Describe it in detail, describe it to the minute. There are others, and like you have just mentioned, who assume or who think that the actions or inactions of an uncle or an auntie is the reason why they are not able to achieve bigger success in their lives. So for them, they live in continuous pains resulting from the continuous existence of that person. That, oh, as long as this my uncle is alive, for me, I don't think I can make it in life. So you live with that kind of pains in you. The mere mention of that uncle or the mere hearing of that uncle's presence begin to make you feel a particular way. That is the pain you are suffering because of the living of another human being that you think is the reason why you are not able to bring success to yourself. Then I talked about the other pain resulting from whether lack of love or no love or inadequacy of love or misunderstanding of love or marriage and children or lack of them or any other forms of pain that human beings face or the failure from business and the pain resulting from it, or those who are into politics, the failure to hold on to power or the failure to get into power and all the suffering that you have labored over the years and not being able to get into that power and looking ahead and it is appearing an impossibility, for which reason it's a pain for you. So these are but a few examples of pains and the description of them. However, you watching me, the way you suffer pain is different from the way everybody else suffer pain. So it is for you to describe it to yourself. So after describing it, I take you to the third stage. And the third stage is for you to analyze it in detail. Analyze it in detail. So you ask yourself, why am I suffering these pains? Why am I suffering these pains? Are the reasons for this suffering true or they are self-inflicted? Are the reasons for suffering these pains factual or they are self-inflicted? Am I just seeing one angle of it and I'm continuing to make it painful for myself, or it is true that everybody else or the information I have with me is okay for me, it is justified that I continue to feel pains? Is it justified? The pains you are feeling, is it justified? Has that kind of problem ever affected somebody and the person treated it in a different manner? Everybody in life, do they also have problems? And the way you are letting the pain come into your life, is that the way they also make the pain feel in their bodies and in their brains, or they treat it differently? So the third stage in dealing with this process is for you to now question the pain, whether it is justified or it is just you who is keeping it that way. So when you question these into detail, you begin to find some doubts, perhaps, that, oh, after all, I think that I have given too much emphasis on these pains. That's entirely may not be so justified. And when you look around, you find examples of many people who may have even suffered more. And that is why usually there are support groups who share experiences when with certain people, diseases and sickness and lack of health is one of their pains. So in terms of psychology and medicine, they are introduced and to join certain support groups that people tell their tales, people tell their stories on how they have been able to overcome or how they are coping. So by so doing, those other people suffering that become so comfortable and say, oh, after I think I'm even better. There are others who are even doing worse than me. But the point I'm making here is, do you think the pain you are suffering is justified in your brain, not in actual life? It is your brain that sums up every situation in your life that results in you putting it in some corner of your brain that, as for this one, I need to suffer it as pain. Another example in this kind of scenario is that whereas somebody's son or daughter will die, the person chooses to consider it as God gives and God takes. And if God gives and He takes, who are you to challenge Him by crying your eyes out? Another person will choose to interpret it as, they have done it again. They will never let me rest. Every child I have, they take it. For me, in this world, I don't see my use being in this world. After all, I didn't know they never give me happiness. Have you seen the two differences? You give yourself comfort by doing everything within your power to ensure that that person lives, but that person eventually dies. And you say that the person was never alive. Somebody brought that person into life, and the person has taken the person back. So the way you interpret it on your mind feels different. But other person who thinks that somebody else has taken the child, and that person is wicked, that person doesn't deserve to be there, that person is just out to see that you are not having children who will grow up to become better in society as compared to that person's children. Do you see the difference? So what we interpret the pains to mean are how you feel it and how you suffer it. How you interpret the pains in your brain are the results of what you feel about it. So that's the third stage. The first stage I said is you mention the pain. Second, I said you should describe. The third, I said you should analyze the pain very well to find out whether that pain you're suffering is really a justified pain or not. Another example in analyzing the pains comes in the fact that whereas a candidate may lose an election and goes out to give a speech that I thank everybody who ever supported me in this campaign. I know we fought a good battle, but the best candidate won. That person and the way he interprets that loss and the pain is different. Then another candidate who has lost comes to say that, oh, I knew it. I knew that people in my family don't support me. All the people I've created jobs for, they don't support me. All the people in my company, they didn't vote for me. I know the people of this city are against me, even though for them I did the best service too. So how you see the difference? So the way you interpret how you see the situation influences how you draw pain onto yourself. And I tell you through this coaching session that pains are inevitable. It depends on how you interpret it and how you want to use the results of that action bringing the pain to you. Number 4. Now, unleash the pain out of you. Now, you know that the pain has come. You have seen all the sides of the pain by describing it. You have asked yourself correct questions, good questions, surrounding whether the pains are justified. Where are the pains coming from? What causes the pain? And all sorts of questions to analyze the pain. And now you have seen light through the analysis of the question or of the situation, of the pain. And the stage 4, I'm telling you to unleash the pains out. Let the pain go out. Let the pain go out. And an example of how to make the pain go out is assuming you are in a love relation, very sweet, very, 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 very impossible to break. But all of a sudden, death comes to take the person away. Or even let's say breakup occurs due to circumstances beyond your control. Must you keep crying all your life because death has taken the person away? Must you keep crying because the relationship is no more? There certainly should be a time that you pick up yourself and move on. Though the pains may linger, the memories may linger forever. However, the way you interpret the pain determines how your life and your graduation towards success in that field and in general comes into your life. If you choose to keep crying that the person is lost, the person has died, you keep every moment you cry, beside you not giving yourself opportunity to find another love, you're also crippling yourself from all other opportunities that comes with life. So here, I say you should allow it out because you've analyzed it enough. So allow it to go out. It's a pain, but the way you've analyzed it, it is becoming fearless again. You are no more afraid of that pain because you now see all the angles of it, and it doesn't make sense to keep holding it into your brain. So if it is poverty, then ask yourself, so what do I do so that instead of feeling the pain of poverty, I replace it with something which is wealth and riches, which is the opposite of poverty. It is the issue of some human being blocking your way, obstructing you from achieving success as your pain. I'm not saying that is justified or that is possible, but I'm only saying that if you have seen it to be a source of pain. So the stage 4, I'm asking you to unleash it out. Unleash it out. Remove it from your mind. I'm not removing it from your mind because the person has convinced you to remove it, but you're removing it out of mind because you yourself need to remove it in order to bring more powerful thoughts into your brain that inspires you. You need to bring more powerful thoughts into your brain to replace that kind of painful thinking you're having for that person obstructing your life, kind of. Another angle of looking at this, unleashing the pain out, is to forgive the person or to forgive the situation. If it is human beings who cause the pains in you, if it is human beings who cause the pains in you, forgive them. Because now you have realized that whatever they have been doing, if it is even true, you have thoughts that are more powerful than whatever bad they can do to you. For which reason you forgive them. If it was your uncle or your auntie or your brothers or your family or neighbors or teachers or whoever they are that ever cause you pains in your life, forgive them. It is by forgiving them that you release and unleash that kind of pains and whatever it represents in your life out. Another angle of forgiveness comes in thinking that the country you are born into, the continent you are born into, is a shithole continent, it's a shithole country, which is retarding your growth. It is a pain for some people. It's a pain for some people that they are from particular cities or they are from particular countries. So if it is a pain for you watching me, you need to forgive that country, forgive that city by forgiving yourself. That kind of thinking you have been holding is unjustifiable. It's unjustifiable thoughts because there are many people in that particular city, in that particular country, who have made it big time. Where you aspire to go, that you feel that that city is limiting for you or that country is limiting for you, many people in it have made it big. So I'm saying that at the 4th stage of pain inspiration is to tell you to unleash that pain out. Remove that pain out. Whatever sort of pain it is, remove it. And I indicated that one of the simple ways for you to be able to remove pains out is for you to forgive the situation. If it is an exam you couldn't pass, forgive yourself. Unleash it out. When you sit for the exam again, you will pass it. But if you keep holding on to the fact that at the time you were writing the exam, you didn't have teachers, you were hungry, you didn't have a place to sit to learn, if you keep on holding to that, it means you are still feeling the pain. And once you're feeling the pain, you can't sit for that exams again and pass it. But if you forgive the situation and open yourself out, release it out, then replace it back with, okay, even though I didn't have teachers at this time, now I'm going to look for the best teachers to teach me. I didn't have textbooks at the time, now I'm going to look for textbooks that I'll read to pass. I'm going to now ensure that whatever preparation I have to do to pass the exam, I'll do it. And that's replacing that pain with new inspiration. It leads me to the last stage, which is feeling inspired by new positive thoughts and positive thinking. You have released the pain to go. So your brain is now empty. So what to do to be able to achieve more results and more success is to fill your mind now with inspiration. If not, other thoughts can come in that will distract you. So now you are filling in your brain inspiration, powerful thoughts that pushes you towards what goals you want to achieve. So to summarize all of this, I say that the 5 processes for me are the best and powerful ways every human being can turn pains into loss of inspiration that helps the person to achieve great results. We started by saying that at the first stage, mention all the pains you have suffered in life. At the childhood, at the adult stage, whether they are physical pains, they are emotional pains, they are financial pains, psychological pains, whatever they are, mention them. The second stage is to describe the pains one by one. Open them up to see what is inside the pain. Describe them. How, when the pain is coming, how does it feel? When the thoughts of the pain comes, how does it feel? When it is physical, how does it feel? The third one I said is for to analyze it. Ask the questions. What causes this pain? Ask yourself, why is this pain so painful? Ask yourself, is this pain even justified at all? The way I'm feeling, is it justified at all? Then ask yourself, how can I remove this pain from me? Ask yourself, can I find a linkage from this pain to the solution of problems? Not necessarily this particular problem, but solving that problem, solving other problems. Ask yourself detailed questions that gets you to analyze the problem to the core, the pain to the core. And the fourth stage, I say, you should unleash the pains out. Unleash the pains out. And then the fifth stage, I say, you should replace your brains with inspiration. So, whatever, my viewer, whatever your pain is in life, there are differences between those who are able to turn situations, painful situations, into inspiring situations. You choose to make a painful situation an inspirational situation if you are somebody who wants to achieve greatness. You are driving, you get to the traffic lights, and it is red. There are many cars causing heavy traffic. You are able to move any further kilometers without the traffic light coming on again. So whereas you choose to get bored, get very distracted, get angry about the situation, about the pain, somebody chooses to begin to do something productive, even at the situation, even the way the situation is. Then between the two of you, there's a vast difference. Somebody fails an exam. The person says that this is just a temporary setback. I will prepare, come back and conquer it better than I would have done in the first place. Then you choose to say that people were the reasons why you didn't make it. And as long as those people are there, you are never going to be able to make it. You ascribe reasons for the pain. You keep giving yourself pain. Whenever you think about such scenario, the pain keeps brushing through your mind. The person who said, I'll come back and conquer, the person is already moving ahead. Whilst you are keeping yourself stuck and even progressing yourself, because the years are going and you are thinking that somebody being in a particular situation is always going to be there. And as long as the person is there, you are never going to be able to make it. So, it is possible to be able to achieve one's goals. However, I say that you need to identify exactly what you are replacing in your brain. In today's session and in this week's video, I have led you into pain inspiration technique to removing limiting beliefs and replacing it with very powerful thoughts that helps you to achieve your goals. And for the last time, I'm saying that you need to know whatever pains you are feeling. Mention the pains one by one, wherever they came from. Mention them one by one. Number two, I said you should describe them. By describing them, you are able to feel the situation, the extent of it. And as you expose yourself more to the situation psychologically, it becomes less fearful. It becomes less threatening. It becomes less dangerous to your growth. And the third one, I say you should analyze it very well by asking deep questions about the situation of the pain. It is by asking these deeper questions that you begin to feel, after all, I can do something about the situation. And the fourth one, I say, you should unleash the pain out. When you unleash the pain out, it helps you a lot by seeing the possibilities in even achieving greater things than what is causing the pains for you. And one of the key ways to be able to unleash pains are to forgive. Forgive people, forgive situations, forgive yourself. If your mindset was wrong, you forgive yourself. If you thought that you couldn't achieve anything, you forgive the teacher, the teachers, you forgive the relatives who you think are the cause of your pains, you forgive the country, you forgive the city, you forgive people around you, forgive the work you are doing. If you think they are the causes of the pains you are feeling, when you do that, then you now come to put in your mind intentionally with powerful and more inspiring thoughts that gets you to achieve your goals in life. And this is possible. Everybody who has achieved greater successes in life, a person uses this kind of technique one way or the other. You feel pains, you suffer some consequences when you're unable to achieve the results you want, but you interpret it and go ahead to do things by letting that particular thing give you inspiration. There's a difference between those who succeed in life and those who remain stuck and those who retrogress in life. Thank you so much for watching this. Next week, God willing, we will send you another video of another technique that helps you to reprogram your mind and have a powerful thought that keeps you motivated every day to achieve greater successes, more money, and more happiness in life. Thank you. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, do so, because this is the channel that will help you to achieve more successes and more happiness, and at the end of the day, live fulfilled. Thank you so much.